Hey, Matt Priest here. I'm back with another exciting edition with Kicks Over Coffee. I'm here with Dr. Dwayne Edwards, who's founder of the Pensole Lewis College of Business and Design, and Justin Dashelsky, who is the business development and strategic accounts at Aetrex. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. As is tradition, we are drinking coffee. I have a cold brew from Starbucks with a little sweet cream in it. What are you guys rocking as we get going on our conversation over coffee?
Yeah, I got some tea actually from the local coffee shop here in New Hampshire.
Nice. What about you, Dwayne?
Yep, same tea.
Tea.
Brought my popular cup from Oregon. It's a pretty cool cup. You just slide your hand into
That
the
is
cup.
cool.
So I'm not a coffee guy, man. I drank coffee one time my entire life.
Uh-huh.
And pulled an all-nighter at Nike for a big presentation I had. I heard coffee is supposed to wake you up, right? So I drank the coffee before the presentation. I thought it was like an IV type injection, and it kicked in after my presentation. So I was up even longer than I needed to be after downing 2 cups of black coffee before my presentation. So
it's not Red Bull, I guess, is the
no more coffee
story
for me after that one. Yeah.
Now that mug is only for a righty, right? You can't have a lefty holding that mug. You got to get
There's a lefty and a righty mug. They did both. Yeah, it's a pretty
Interesting.
cool cup. They made them
cool.
in it's a small little company in Oregon that makes them.
That's really cool. Awesome.
That's awesome.
Well-
I actually worked for a coffee company back in the day too, which is pretty cool, called Collectivo back in Wisconsin. But to Dwayne's point, I actually was drinking too much of it and just getting like shaky, and it was hard to focus. So I do that every so often, but it's not a daily regimen for me anymore.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's, Kicks Over Tea didn't have the same ring, but we'll go with it. So all
Coffee. We're
all
good.
drinks are welcome. So Justin, let's talk about Aetrex's Albert 2 Pro Foot Scanner. I know that you guys are capturing a lot of different data with this really cool scanner. I've seen it in person. I've actually used it in New York when it was there. What data are you actually collecting with the scanner? Talk to me more about the scanner as a whole and kind of how it helps drive data collection for your customers.
For sure, yeah. So we our technology has 4 Intel RealSense 3D depth cameras. With that, we actually capture over 3.5 million data points of the foot to help show the reconstruction of your feet on the technology. And then we also have 5,184 gold-plated barometric sensors that's under the foot, which helps us map out pressure distribution of the feet. And then, we can say we have the world's only all-in-one 3D foot scanner because you can actually walk across it too. And we capture dynamic scans at 30 frames per second. So we do 16 measurements of the feet, capture pressure static and dynamically.
That's really cool. I don't understand half of what you said, but it's really amazing, right? It's like NASA's talking to me. All right, Dwayne, I know all about Pensole Lewis College, but our viewers may not. If they are, if they don't, they're living on a rock, I think. But talk to us about PLC, kind of what's the vision, where are you located? Tell us more about it.
Sure, yeah. Pensole Lewis is located in Detroit, Michigan. It's a newly reopened, design-focused, historically Black college here in Detroit. Our focus is design and business. Obviously our sweet spot since Pensole Academy 13 years ago has been the footwear side. And since then we've, evolved from the footwear piece into apparel, accessories, graphics, interior design. We're really expanding the college, but our bread and butter will always be footwear. That's my background and what I've cut my chops on. So, but yeah, we are building this college from zero, man. I mean, it's a little bit more challenging than I thought. I thought corporate America was challenging, but man, education is a whole nother beast.
It is a beast for sure, but it's a worthy beast. It's worthy of the time and effort, and you are an inspiration. In fact, I am always inspired by Dwayne because if you look over my left shoulder, I've got Jordan 22s always in my mind as I walk by and see the creative aspect of who Dwayne is. Let's talk about how you guys met, though. Dwayne, how did you get connected with Aetrex, and what about this technology that Justin just articulated? What about that interests you?
Yeah, we met at the Footwear News CEO Summit a few years ago, actually, last year, actually, where Larry and Jason was there presenting Aetrex to the audience. And I'm standing in the background waiting for my hand to be answered when I raised my hand for a question. Because it's like, as soon as I saw that, basically, I'm gonna give you the normal version of what Justin said. So they have the ability to
layman's version. Here we go.
Give you the ability to actually step on, the monitor. I mean, Aetrex, the device, and really measure everything about your feet. That's gold as a designer, right? That is literally gold. As we go into designing a product specifically for sports and for certain athletes, it's important for us to understand their foot, because we have to design a shoe that becomes one with their foot so they can perform at their sport at the highest level.
Right.
So when I saw Aetrex being showcased, I'm like, okay, absolutely, we need to figure out how we can partner and get one of those here with us in Detroit. Because everything we do is still, like I mentioned, is so entrenched into the footwear industry, and all of our partners are the top brands in the industry. And we're working on projects for high performing athletes all the time. And for our students to be able to walk over themselves and experience it in person in real time, it gives them a better perspective of what's possible as they go into start the designing and creating the product. So it was like a year and a half ago, and talked to them within minutes. They were like, yes, we should do that. And the next thing I know, about a few months later, Justin was showing up with a bunch of big boxes, and we unpacked it and started going.
That's cool. Now, Justin, had you guys worked with an educational design facility before, a learning kind of area, or were you always just corporate company? Kind of how did that come about from your perspective when you connected with Dwayne at PLC?
For sure. Yeah. So we work with some brands, some bigger retailers prior to meeting with Dwayne at Pencil Lewis College, but meeting with him and launching at at Pencil was the first of its kind for us. So it was extremely exciting for me personally. I mean, I had goosebumps going in there and talking to the students, scanning their feet, and just their eyes were just like wide and bright, just like, what can we do? What's next? What's next? And the ideas they had were they're unreal. I mean, it was so much fun listening to these students scanning their feet, and the ideas that come from that is like no other.
Yeah, I guest lecture at a number of college classes at different universities, and it's more life-giving to me, to be honest with you, when I go in and I talk about trade policy or footwear design or retail, and they just are soaking it up and they're taking copious notes and they just want to know more and know more. And it's a super refreshing environment, Dwayne. And I know you draw life out of it as well. But talk to me more about what types of classes in particular, specifically at Pencil Lewis, are you using the scanner for? Are there specific kind of knowledge verticals that you're using the classes for?
Yeah, the beauty of the Albert Pro is we're able to go from a class we're doing with, say, New Balance, that's focused on multiple athletes in multiple sports, to a class that we're doing with Versace and Jimmy Choo that's focused on high heels and casual shoes, right?
Right.
So it allows us to span that spectrum, right? To be able to get the information that we need to design the product. So it's not limited to just the performance side of it. I mean, it really is, it really does give you the ability to understand everything about your feet. And the beauty of footwear as designers, it's not the same. Your foot is not the same symmetrically. The left and right are not the same. The medial lateral is not the same. The top and the bottom are not the same. And so that's really the hardest part for kids who are interested in designing footwear, is to understand it's not symmetrical like apparel is symmetrical.
Right.
And so that provides opportunity, though, as you start to design the product, because it gives you a reason to design something very specific at every angle you're actually designing a product for. But understanding what happens on the inside, that helps informs the outside structure of everything that we create.
Yeah. Now, are there certain things that the students have really grasped very quickly that they were struggling with before you implemented the scanners, or things that are still kind of a work in progress?
No, a lot of it, man, they just didn't know. Like they really did not know, in some cases, that their left foot is smaller than their right foot. They didn't know. They didn't know they had lower arches or higher arches. Like, a lot of it is information for them to be more wise about their own body and their own body types. But as they start to design the process, now they can understand why shoes are shaped a certain way. They can understand why certain fit systems, the lacing structure, straps, overlays, they can understand why those things are in place once they understand the actual anatomy of the feet.
Got it. Now, Justin, let's kind of zoom out from Detroit, from Pencil Lewis, and broaden our spectrum like across the industry. talk to me more about kind of what are the applications as you work with your various customers. Dwayne mentioned, athletic versus casual versus high end and fashion driven. You guys obviously work with all those different types of companies and brands. Are footwear brands using the 3D technology? Talk to us more about how you're working with other companies.
Yeah, for sure. So they definitely use our LR2 Pro, and we have another scanner called 3D Fit that they can utilize as well that just does 3D measurements of the feet. But there's folks that'll utilize Albert 2 Pro to look at how much pressure is being distributed when it comes to their sock liner, for the inside of the shoes. They're scanning last with our scanner as well, because you can scan anything within our technology. And we launched a website called foot.com, which gives brands access to global 3D foot data. So when someone, let's say a fit tester, scans their foot, they can actually compare their shoe size to all of those shoe sizes around the world. So as an example, if they scanned a men's size 9, we can look at that size 9, the 16 measurements of the feet, and say, hey, you're in the 78th and 80th percentile of width, which just simply means that you have a wider foot compared to all folks that have scanned a size 9. And maybe your heel width is in the 11th percentile, which just means you have a narrower heel. So some folks might want to make a tighter heel contour, for their shoes based on that information. So there's just so much foot data that you can gather from not only our Albert 2 Pro 3D foot scanner, but from foot.com, which again gives brands access to global 3D foot data. So if they want to compare, women's size 7 in the US and see how that compares or the differences of that foot in Asia, they can do that within foot.com, which is really exciting. And a lot of the feedback that we've gotten from Dwayne and other brands that we've worked with is, they wanted to essentially get the ability to have to get access to infinite measurements of the foot. So we can actually grab a women's size 7 in Asia and put a lasso around the foot and take any measurement that you want and dissect the foot. I mean, it's absolutely insane what we're doing with foot.com.
That's cool. And that URL is like some prime internet real estate, foot.com. We purchased a lot of URLs, FTRA, and we couldn't afford that one for sure. But it sounds like you're aiming towards almost a digital passport for consumers, right? So, I'm a size 12 all the time wear size 12s. But there's a lot of my friends and my family that, their sizing varies just depending on the brand they're engaged with or the type of shoe they're purchasing. And so it seems to have that digital passport, if you will, to help inform the consumer that as they work with the brand about sizing and fitting. And then you think about returns in the e-commerce age, it's just, they're astronomical. I assume this helps drive down return rates.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have something called Fit Genius, which the goal of that is to help reduce returns online. So we can work with retailers to understand, again, the 16 measurements of the foot. We can understand purchase and return history. We can say, hey, if people with these feet have liked and or returned, these shoes or these styles in this size. So if you're shopping, online and Dwayne's a similar size, we can say, hey, this person or this foot has bought this shoe in this size. And we'll associate what we call a Fit Genius score. So you might have one that'll be a 99 or a 98 for you, but because Dwayne's foot might be narrow and low volume, that specific style might be a 68 for him. So he probably shouldn't buy that shoe because he's going to return it. So that's just, the whole thing just ties into our omni-channel fit tech solution that we offer at Aetrex.
That's cool. Yeah. So my last question as we kind of close out this conversation, and Dwayne, I'll start with you from one angle, and then Justin, I'll come to you on kind of a different angle. But it sounds like 3D design is the future of design for footwear, Dwayne. And what's really cool about what Pencil is doing is that with these scanners in place, you are informing and educating a new generation of students to be learning on the technology of the future for design. So you're not cranking out the back of the napkin designer, if you will. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're cranking out people will be engaged in 3D design. Is that how you approach it as you view developing the next generation of great designers?
Yeah, we've always done that since, we started with the Academy in 2010, is we've been ahead of the industry as it pertains to skill development of the talent they're looking to receive. And so we work with all the same material vendors that the industry works with, the same software suppliers, same hardware suppliers. And now as we go into this 3D space, as you mentioned, the next evolution of that is, around the fit side, around the fit side of the equation. which is what Aetrex does the best, right? And so that allows our students to now learn on that software and learn on the equipment. So when they get placed in these companies that does not have an Aetrex, right? They can say, hey, have you ever considered doing that? Because I was able to design and learn that at PLC. It helps them, expand kind of what's possible when they look at getting jobs at these major companies. We want our students to be ahead.
Yeah.
And I've told this to Justin and Larry and Jason is we're trying to be the best design school in the world. Like we're not trying to be the best HBCU. We're not trying to be the best school in Detroit.
Right.
We're trying to be the best one in the world. In order for that to happen, we have to work with the best, partners to be able to make that happen for us. And so I wish, like, I was just thinking about it when you were talking about narrow feet, like Mello has narrow feet, right? And I'm like, I didn't find that out until the shoe was finished, right? And so we had to actually it was actually the 5.5. We had to actually add more foam to the lining for his game shoes because he told us like, hey, yeah, my foot runs a little narrow. I'm like, dude, you could have told me that earlier. We could have worked that out. But like this solved that problem ahead of time. And to Justin's point too, I think it also has even in-person retail possibilities too. Can't really talk about what we're working on, but we're working on an in-person retail experience that would allow people to walk up, stand, get their foot scanned, and then pick the right size based on physically standing in the store. Instead of that poor salesman or woman have to go out and, it's always horrible when they walk out with like 15 boxes of shoes and they pick one, right? Or none, right? That's even worse. But yeah, this helps reduce the manual labor of shoe salesmen in the store.
I've had that happen to me so many times with Foot Locker over the years. So I'll be the first in line to use it. Now, Justin, if you want to partner with Aetrex, as Dwayne said, great partners are really important. If you want to partner with Aetrex, how do our viewers get a hold of you and get connected with you guys?
Yeah, they can go to aetrextechnology.com. I believe there's a book a demo link on that website. Otherwise, they can, find me on LinkedIn, or my email address is my last name @aetrex.com. So we're excited. We travel a ton because we want people to experience our technology in person. I think once people do that, they just really understand, where we're coming from as a brand.
Cool. We'll drop all that in the description below. Now, Dwayne, for brands who want to partner with Pencil Lewis College of Business and Design, what are the best ways to get a hold of you and the college itself?
It's really just email me directly, Dwayne@pencil.com. We're picky who we work with because we want to make sure we're good partners and they're good partners. But our goal is if you're trying to move the industry forward, then reach out. Because that's what we're all about, is trying to move this industry forward and try to train the next generation of footwear designers and color material designers that exist in our industry.
Cool. Got it. Well, gentlemen, I'm grateful to know you both and to partner with you both in many ways. This is very, very exciting. Dwayne, thanks for coming on and talking more about your partnership with Aetrex and what you're doing at the college. Justin, thanks for dropping words. I have no idea what they mean, but I'm super impressed by them, and I'm excited I've used the technology, so I know it works. And so I appreciate you coming on as well.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, folks, this has been another edition of Kicks Over Coffee. Check out kicksovercoffee.com. It's not as expensive a URL as foot.com, but you'll find all the episodes there. You can go to shoeandshow.com where our podcast is, or hit up fdra.org for all that we do on behalf of the industry. Until next time, thanks for watching.